quilting design in a blank block, and let's take a look at how I would choose a quilting design for a pieced block. Now I'm using Quilter's preview paper again, and I've already drawn out some of the designs. And what I'm going to be looking at particularly is placement. I want to anticipate where the quilted line will cross from light to dark or from one patch to the next, and I also want to look at scale and how the design fits. Now this is a stencil, and right off the bat you notice that it does not fill up the entire block. But if I were to use it, I certainly could outline and fill that space. What's good about this design? What's maybe not so good about this design? Well, for this particular block, it's nice that you get a little bit of placement. Remember, quilting shows the very best in light spaces. But think about thread color. If I were to use white thread and apply this design to this block, I would see the white thread, because white thread shows on white, then it would scream on the purple. It wouldn't show the same on the dark patches as it would show on the green. If I were to choose this, there'd be no question for me at least, and that's that I would have to use monofilament thread. But I'm still not sure it's the best design for this block. So let's take a look at another. Okay, this is a printed design from a pattern pack. Let's put that over there. And on a blank block, it would look fantastic. On my block, it absolutely competes with the piecing. It wouldn't do anything for this block. Even if I were to turn it or to size it so that it actually fits the entire block, it's just too busy to compete with the star that's underneath in the piecing. Now let's look at using your quilt's seams and the intersection of seams as guides to finding a quilt design that's going to complement your quilt or your block. And here I'm using the intersections of the seam, and I'm going to arc around, curves. We had mentioned before that curves accentuate straight lines. So if your quilt has a lot of straight lines, add curves. That's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm also using some reference points in some areas. See, I put a reference point here, and then I'm arcing out to those reference points. I didn't quite come to the middle, but I could have. And I used this process. It actually took me 1 or 2 different tries to find how many lines I needed to add to complement this design. You notice here on the right that on the left, I have an arc in this green space, and here I have an echo of the diamond shape. And I think if I were to quilt this, I like the fact that there's some straight lines against a lot of the curves. So again, I'm just making a decision by previewing it in advance, and I think the straight lines work better.